I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. JTS. Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.
We're in the danger zone. What is, bro, Murph? It's another Friday. Up on the calendar. Everybody filing in, starting the weekend off right here in the DZ, man. Live with Murph. How has your week been? And do you have any plans this weekend?
Well, the week was, it was just like all the other weeks are. I worked my ass off, and then Friday hit, and it's like, yes. But this Friday is just a little special because it starts my freaking vacation that I've needed so bad, so bad. So got off work, picked up the kid, came home, been doing a couple things around the house, and just kicking back with a couple brews and relaxing. And Sunday I'll be shipping out to the beach with the boy. Gonna go, enjoy the waves, enjoy the sand, forget about life per se. And I'm really excited, man. So I'm ready to just kick back and relax today.
Dude, amen, brother. You going to Myrtle?
Yes. Yep, that's where we're heading. I got a
Dude,
buddy that lives 20 minutes from the beach, and I just stay with him. Dude, way better than paying for a hotel anywhere else.
I will say, dude, I went down there one time. I was like, early 20s. And it just so happens, you know how there's like stuff going down there, like stuff going on down there. Well, the week I went down happened to be Black Biker Week.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
it was happening down there though,
It's
man. It
lit.
was.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Both bike weeks, it gets lit down there for sure.
You know, heading down, I was expecting to see everybody on black bikes, but that wasn't the case.
Can be deceiving, yes.
Yes.
But either way, it can be a time both times. I got some stories on bike week that I could tell you, but we'll keep that off air.
Dude, I will say, man, I love the beach, but as you can also see, the beach doesn't necessarily love me. But I do, dude. You got to get to one at least. at least once a year, man. Now though, literally 5 minutes from the ocean. I got to start checking that out. Definitely a different vibe though on the West Coast
Oh yeah.
versus, yeah, especially like temperature and stuff, man. You're not getting like 80 to 85-degree water, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, another week, man, another weekend here. Were you able to see any of the pressers this week? I mean, not a whole lot of nuggets, but I'm just curious if you saw anything cross your timeline or anything.
No, not since the coordinator pressers last week and stuff. I didn't see anything that crossed me there. So you may be spitting some new info out of me, but fresh takes.
Yes, facts. And you're right. Those are the main ones last week. This week, you had Glenn spoke once. Josh Reynolds spoke. A couple other, I think Quincy spoke. So most of it, like I said, I don't like rehashing the same things that everybody has done on every channel. So I'm going to skip most of them. I just have a couple underlying nuggets that I want to spit to you. One was Josh Reynolds, formerly a Lion, with Aaron Glenn. I thought it was cool because he had mentioned this week that a couple of his new teammates keep asking him what camp is going to be like. That's like the number one thing they want to know. And he keeps telling them that it's going to be tough. I really like that. But yeah, I mean, like he said, they're not going to ask me about Glenn because Glenn is an open book, man. He is very easy to read. He's going to tell you what the hell so they're not coming to him for that kind of advice. What they are coming for him for, though, is what is next month, July? What is that going to be like? And his answer to them is, you are going to work. Thoughts on that little nugget?
Hey, I love it. That's what I like to hear, man. Because when it comes down to it, like the season, these games, you're not playing, 60% game in the game. Like you're not practicing 60%. You're not taking all these breaks and stuff. Like a game is a game, and it's 150% all game long until that clock hits zero, man. So like if it's amped up, if the training camp is amped up, these practices are amped up, and these guys are fighting out there, like not fighting literally, but they're out there fighting for their jobs. They're out there fighting to be one of the best and make this team, you know, in the end have a winning record or something like that. That's what you want, man. Like you don't want you don't want these guys half-assing it because especially this year, like there is talent on the team, but we're not really set to make a heavy run. You know what I mean? Most people would say that we're not set to make a heavy run. So these guys, if they want to have some respect to their names, they're going to have to work their tails off out there, and I think Glenn's going to have them doing it.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is you're going to have a lot of position battles, a lot of competition. If we sat and we just named the guys who have their spot on lock, I think it's single digits. I think everybody else is going to be fighting for spots, and the best way to have the cream rise to the top is, hey, bro, tough camp. Because if you can't hack it, we need to know now. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I actually really look forward to camp, simply because of how many jobs are up for grabs. Dude, the most exciting one to me though, right? I'm thinking right off the bat is that safety spot. Both of them. Um, Tony Adams has had it on lock. Now he's fighting for his job. You got Cisco coming in on a 1 year deal. Like Malachi, dude. There's like five guys in two spots, so that'll be cool.
Yeah,
We can.
the safety I find really interesting. That was a good pull out there. I'm also really intrigued with wide receiver because after Garrett Wilson is who you know is it Alan Lazar? Is it because he's a vet, or is it Josh Reynolds because he's a vet, or do one of these young guys step up and they say, no, I don't care if you've played in the league for 6, 8 years, like I'm here and I'm here to play. I'd love to hear that, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it unfolds, man.
Facts, facts. Yeah, just a minor nugget, but it kind of gives you a clue as to what we're about to ramp up into, which is nice because June, dude, we have so next week, June 10th through the 12th is mandatory mini camp. You probably get a ton more nuggets out of us a week from today, but so far it's been voluntary. But dude, I just can't wait we need pads on, especially like that spot next to Quinnen. We need to see pad. We like Braylon Allen. I want to see have pads. Fields, he won't get hit, but like you kind of got to have pads on to see some of this stuff shake out. Chat's killing it, man. I just want to shout them out. We got some OGs here that they like hanging out with us on Fridays, and honestly, I like hanging out with them too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you brought the chat up right as I was like trying to like give a couple people shout outs in the chat. I was trying to sneak it and you did it, so whatever. Anyway,
Hey,
yeah, appreciate you guys coming. Seriously, like DKB, you're always welcome, brother. Tyson's always in here killing. He's already killing me tonight. And Nick comes in, he calls it, he brings the fire, and Chris, Hazel, we appreciate all you guys coming in and gals.
facts, facts. I heard so a while back. I think it was maybe during the coordinator conference weeks. Uh, Glenn made a point, and we talked. I think we talked about this. He made a point of saying that when he got hired, like Quincy was one of the first people he spoke to, and he told Quincy that there were some parts in his game that he needed to work on. And then we heard that Quincy was doing that. Well, this week, at least in the past 7 days, because like I'm thinking to myself, what does Quincy have to work on? I mean, first thing that comes to my mind is like coverage ability and stuff. You can always use work there. But I think I know. I think I know the main thing now. The past week, there's been enough clarity kind of on that topic, and let me lay it out for you. Um, Last week, Quincy had a camp, a youth camp. CJ Mosley actually made an appearance there, and that was cool. And then I heard that CJ actually was interviewed, and he said that Quincy was actually they went to lunch together, dinner together, and Quincy was picking his brain on leadership stuff. Then, I think a day or two ago, some nuggets came out that the beat is saying that Quincy is like the biggest change in Quincy has been his vocal leadership on the practice field. Like they're up in a like bird's perch and they can hear him directing shit all the way up there. He's the loudest one on the field. So what the beat's saying, plus what CJ Mosley's saying, knowing what Glenn said, I think you can tie all that together. And Glenn challenged Quincy to be a better leader, a more vocal leader. And I think that's what we're seeing. What do you think of that? Do you think that that's a good deduction by me? Do you think I'm just like grasping at straws? Talk to me.
No, actually, I was hoping I was going to be the one to spit the take there or whatever, but then you ended up flowing right into it. But like when you first brought up like what could like Quincy work on and things that he talked with Glenn about things in his game to work on. Well, I'm not a coach, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, your second step is too giving or something. Like I'm not going to get into. I don't know as far as that. So as far as play, I'm not saying that Quincy is a perfect player, but I think he's a damn good player. And even in coverage, like he's that first year where he blew up, he was actually pretty damn good in coverage too. Like so we've seen a lot of good out of Quincy, and I think that it can only even get better, with the right coaching and stuff like that. But so I was racking my brain. I'm like, where could he work on a little better? And and it was like the first thing that popped up in my mind that I was like, what I want him to work on better was leadership. I think, and it's not that we don't have leaders on the defense. I think Quinnen can be a leader. I think Sauce can be a leader. Um, it's more of I would like to have a capable leader at every level, like defensive line, linebackers, secondary. I think that makes things flow really well. And with Mosley gone, love Mosley. I always did love Mosley. I hate seeing him leave, but it was going to happen eventually. He's getting older. He's starting to get some injuries racking up and stuff. Like it was going to happen eventually, but that was one of the things that I just loved about Mosley. He was a leader, man, and he led the right way. And I hope that Quincy can just take even a smidgen off of that off of Mosley. And it sounds like he's really putting the effort into it and practice, and he's wanting to learn how to be a leader. He's talking to the right guy, obviously, and Mosley. So I love it, man. That's something you're telling me a lot of stuff that's getting me a little hyped up, dude. Already, already. I went
Dude.
from 5 wins to 5.5 already.
At least 5.75. Come on.
Okay, I'll give you this.
Dude, I will say, like, it's the defense. It's hard not to think that, like, with a new mindset and just running it back with a new direction, hard work, 11 months of the year, 12 months of the year, like just a fresh approach, that they can't get back to being a joy to watch. Especially since I think the defensive players they added in the draft, we'll get into that, but like I think we got some good ones. We did lose CJ. We did lose DJ Reed and Chuck Clark, and a couple guys, but like if we didn't fully replace what they've given us this year, I think over time they will replace that. And dude, we got Sherwood basically for free. Yeah, we have to pay him, but like, what did we spend on him capital wise? Like, I couldn't even tell you right now, but um, yeah, dude, I get hype thinking of what this defense can be. Offense, different story. And that's probably why I'm not saying, we can get a wild card this year. It's the offense. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I think, just, I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but I would just say, like, if the offense can at least hold the ball for 30 minutes a game, I think we might be all right. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, camp's going to be tough. We know that. Quincy is trying to fill some of the void of CJ Mosley, which is interesting because we just paid Sherwood, right? And Sherwood replaced Mosley last year. But the beat isn't saying that Sherwood is trying to be Mosley or fill the void of Mosley. They're saying that it's almost like Sherwood is the old Quincy, and Quincy's trying to be, you know what I mean? It's kind of a shift. So I do want to see how that plays itself out as well. Really, like I said, not a lot. I don't want to rehash the same stuff. Everybody's we could sit here and talk about Justin Fields for an hour and a half. We could talk about Aaron Rodgers, how he's going to be a Steeler, and we're going to play him week 1. We could talk about that for the next 3 months. Do you want to do that?
No. You want to talk about Jets Bible training camp?
We talked about it in a chat already. Blew it, and Sabo had a really nice stream the other day where a lot of nuggets came out of that. One I want to mention is Sabo said that Azaria Thomas, looks like he's going to be a player. The big question with him was, would his 4.56 40 hamper him? By all indications, he's able to stay with men stride for stride. So I love that because Who knows with Brandon Stevens what that's going to look like. But if you can, like, think about it, Sauce Gardner, Brandon Stevens, Azarie Thomas, 3 corners, all long, rangy press. Despite what Wilkes says, I think we're going to be pressing a lot. It's just like, come on, you gotta use your guys with what they're good at, and that's what they're tailored to be. But yeah, Azarie Thomas high on my list for being worthy of a top 100 pick, because let's face it, like when we took a corner in the 3rd round, I'll be the first to say I wasn't on the hype train right away.
Yeah, for me, I got to I still like it sounds promising, but I got to see it. I got to see him be able to do it in the NFL for me to commit. But like I said, it sounds good. Everybody that's studying the tape and stuff is all about it. Okay, let me see him do it in the NFL, and you'll see me commit to that train really fast because I want the kid to do well, obviously, and I'm not super high on Stevens either. So if Az Thomas can step in and take over that spot and hit the ground running, then I'm all about it. Let's do it. But it's like you said, like yeah, Wilkes was like, well, who said that? About the press coverage and stuff like that. Well, of course he's going to say that. Like he doesn't want to just be like, hey, yeah, everybody, we're going to play press man 85% of the time. Here you go. Like no, like he's gonna say, we'll adjust game to game and see what we need to do based on the personnel and how they go with
Facts.
the coach speak. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. He's not just going to give that up right off the bat. But I think there will be a high percentage of press in there.
It sounds like Az Thomas has been showing out. It also sounds like Malachi Moore has been playing well. He had a pick or two, I know. Dude, these guys are in underwear. Aaron Glenn has said it 16 times. Like, you can't take much from right now. These guys are in their underwear. I mean, you're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear it a lot. But it's good. It's good to hear, because Malachi Moore is a guy that we took, what, 5th round. If we can get some, like, give me Chuck Clark, but I mean, Chuck Clark was always a day late and a dollar short after his Achilles. If you can give me like that mold of a guy and have him for a 3 to 4 year contract, dirt cheap, I'd like to see. Did anyone you add to this secondary that's semi promising, do it, because that's what our staff should theoretically be adept at molding. I think Malachi Moore, Az Thomas, both guys we have in the chamber ready to blossom, assuming this staff is worth their salt. Another thing, though, that did come out this week I want to mention.
Can
Good.
I
Yeah.
hop on that? Like, let's not forget, like, just because it's a new regime doesn't mean that they can't use guys from the old regime, and we had a couple guys that a lot of us were high on, like last offseason, like JBC was having a good camp, Quantez Stiggers was impressing, as a rookie. And Tony Adams, like there was a reason why he worked his way up into being a starter from a UDFA. So I don't think I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to lay down and let somebody else just take the position. Like he's going to be out there fighting too. So I think that there's a few guys from the old regime that also still have a chance to be impact players, or contributors of some sort. So yeah, yeah, I'm
Bro,
excited about that secondary to see how it shapes out and see. Yeah, I am excited about that.
same, because we got like 7, 8 guys we're excited about. So if you can tell me that we don't have to pick the 4 that play or the 6 that play the most, he does, Glenn does, like they do, and it's going to be the best 6 out of 8. So if you're telling me that we're going to just have the best of that 8, sign me up, man. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me one bit if the secondary wasn't the best part of the team. Hopefully, it's the O line, but if it's the back end of the defense, I would not be shocked. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got a good question here. I do have one or two more nuggets I want to throw at you, but let's take a beat. And I know there's a guy that you actually have been hyped about, that you were actually thinking of featuring tonight, and you changed your mind. But uh, DKB asks, any UDFAs from last year that you think could surprise?
Would you like me to start, sir? Um, yeah. So I think I don't know. Like there's quite a few guys there that we all had. We're all like, you know what, maybe. Like the names like Braden McGregor, Eric Watts, and stuff. Like there's a few of those guys where they're like, hey, they might amount to something, but I don't know if any of them really have like plus starter potential, like potential maybe even get a Pro Bowl or two. I don't know if any like those guys are going to be lucky to ever be starters. I think like even though they're decent ball players and they may deserve to be on a roster somewhere in the league. To me, I think the guy I'm just going through with the guy that has the most potential, and I think that's LT3, man. That's Leonard Taylor III. I think that he was undrafted due to just some character concerns and things like that, and that'll happen, and that stuff can also, like, guys grow up, right? You're young in college. I did a lot of stupid shit when I was in college. I mean, like I remember waking up in random people's houses, hand in one of them big things of cheese balls and like beer cans laying on me, and just and I had to figure out where the hell I was at, and like I mean, we've just all done some stupid shit in college, made some questionable decisions, um, so the guy could grow up, and if he does grow up and he learns how to give 110% on every play and not take plays off, and think about the team as a whole, not just himself, he's got the potential, man. He's very explosive. The only hesitation I have about LT3 is he kind of plays in a similar position to Quinnen, and Quinnen, I mean, we don't have you know, hard snap count limiter Sala as the coach anymore. So Quinnen very well could be playing 75 plus percent of snaps, maybe higher, maybe 80, 85. I don't know. Um, so I think that LT3's opportunities are limited. But if he gets a chance, no matter how it comes, I think he can show out if he really tries.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? As a three tech behind Quinnen, which, like you said, they're kind of the same guy. But, dude, if Quinn, I mean, Quinnen's never topped like 68% of the snaps. If LT can give us 40 or, yeah, I'd say like 40%. And, dude, he has a pass rush skill set. Sign me up, man. For a guy you spent nothing on, um, I like it. Like you said, might not be a plus starter, but plus rotational guy for sure. Um, yeah. Uh, but one more thing I wanted to mention this week, we learned from Glenn himself. They asked him about Mason Taylor. And he basically, I mean, he talked about him for like 60 to 90 seconds, but he said basically, we all know that he's going to be uh, a weapon basically in the receiving game. But Glenn said he is really pleased with what he has shown in the blocking game. He said a lot of times that's one of the hardest things for a rookie to come in and be about. He's pleased with what he's seeing. And I wasn't sure either, because like, who knows when you got a tight end in college into the NFL, you can catch all the passes you want, but if you can't block, and especially like the way we're expecting our offense to be, if Mason Taylor can be a plus blocker, he's going to be out there damn near every down, especially if we're in 12 a lot. So again, it's too early. It's too soon. He's not wearing pads, but like where we're at and where he ought to be, we're in a very good place. So what do you make of the nugget? I mean, Glenn didn't have to say anything like that, but he did say it and he did feature it. What do you take of that?
Well, I think it's good news. I mean, we're gonna, of course, we're gonna temper our expectations, like you mentioned, like we're hanging out, in our underwear out there, taking these false snaps. I'm gonna call them. If he's showing like promise, at least in understanding the assignments, if anything, I think that's a plus for sure. Because we were all like, or at least a lot of us, I think, were a little hesitant. Like, is he going to be able to hang in the blocking game? I think a lot of us were somewhat confident and him making a bit of an impact in the passing, but we were a little worried. Is he going to be able to go to the next level and be able to block? I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not sure what kind of offense he was in college. Was he in a pro style? I don't. There's very few teams that run pro styles anymore, so I kind of doubt it. So if when you go to the NFL, the blocking schemes are a bit more extensive, man. So it's a bit of a learning curve for a lot of tight ends trying to learn the blocking schemes in the NFL. So if he's already kind of like it's kind of clicking for him, that's great, man. That's great. It just gets him ahead of the pack. That position is wide open for him to
Facts.
take. It's wide open for him to take. So if he's already getting a good head start on things, excellent. That's what I want to hear.
Dude, and honestly, like, I don't even need him to run intricate routes as a rookie. I don't need him to stretch the field as a rookie. I, I just need him to find the spot in the zone and sit down, as well as block efficiently. As a rookie, if he could do that, just sit in the zone and be a safety valve for Justin Fields, bro, he might get. I think he'll be top three in targets if he can do that. Between Brees, Garrett, and Taylor, 1, 2, 3. Um, so do that as a rookie, and then next year, let's talk about how you can elevate your game, how you can actually beat a guy downfield, and precise cuts and all that. But like, maybe don't throw everything at him all at once. That's just
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, if he can learn how to be a plus blocker as a tight end and also be a dependable guy for Fields, to learn how, like you said, to sit in soft spots in the zone and things like that, that'll be excellent, man. Um,
Yeah,
I'm only worried about maybe 5 routes out of the guy.
yeah, facts, facts.
Like drag, post, seam, out, curl. you
Yeah,
know, just give me that. Let's not worry about these flags and different types of
give
no.
me a comeback at the sticks, man.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly.
Um, there was another thing that Sabo mentioned that we could probably have an hour long rabbit hole out of. I'm just gonna touch it real quick, but like, please go check that video out because it's excellent. Um, Sabo was asked because X Factor, as like, I'm with them on their take when it comes to Brees Hall. DKB is about in the same boat too. Like, we know the situation, but like, they asked Sabo to project what he thought, and it's projecting obviously. The running back split might be between our three-headed monster. In the past, it's been like Brees gets like 70% of the work. Sabo came down from that a lot. And I just want to mention the split that was his answer, because honestly, it was before he said it, it was the exact what I thought, because I'm high on Davis, very high on Braylon Allen. So like, for me, it's like very similar. But A lot of people wouldn't agree with that. And Sabo's take, though, was that the running back split would be Brees 40%, and we're talking rushing only, 40%, Braylon 35%, Davis 25. So 40, 35, 25. And again, that doesn't count receiving touches, which can totally warp how you think that would be. And Brees is, going from 70% down to 40. It might not be so bad if you give him more targets, but talk to me. Do you think that that's crazy to only give him 40% of snaps? Do you think Braylon Allen can handle 35%? Do you think Davis can handle 20? Like, just what's your opinion on that?
If the Jets coaching staff approaches it that way, you know, hats off to them. The way I look at it, I think that if they started off the season, at least starting the season off that way, and seeing how things unfold for the first few, maybe 3-4 games or so, if Brees just, makes everything of his touches, then you can feature him again. But I don't know that Brees deserves us just being like, that's our guy. 85% of touches for a running back is going to Brees Hall because 2 years ago he looks like he was good, or whatever. Like, I think that you give everybody a chance, you roll with the hot hand, right? You adjust the snaps with the hot hand. If Isaiah Davis only gets 10 snaps but ends up with freaking 70 yards, why are we only limiting him to 10? Which is a very real possibility. All three of these backs are good, guys. Like, seriously. All three of these backs have potential. I don't know that Braylon Allen has like home run hitting potential, but he is not afraid to put his head down and get that first down. And that's really all that matters. Whenever it's a game of 10 yards at a time, get the first down. And then you worry about getting the next first down and you get that one. And then so on and so forth. And then eventually you're at the goal line and you're like, well, let's pound it in, and guess who's good at that too? Like, so Braylon's
Not Brees.
Yeah. But Brees also has shown the ability to hit a home run, just not so much last season. It's as simple as this: the most talented back in the room is Brees Hall. He really is. Nobody's going to deny that. Neither of us will. I doubt anybody in the chat will. He's
Facts.
The most talented back in the room. Count UDFAs or whatever the hell you want to count. He is. So he gets the lead amount of snaps. But that doesn't mean that he needs to get 75% of them.
No.
Do 40, 35, 25. Do it. See who the hot hand is. See who put the work in over the offseason. Who has his mind right. And then that is your lead back. And it doesn't have to, nobody has to be 75%, but I'm just saying, like, if they do that, hats off to them, man. And if Brees takes a hold of that job and runs away with it, then fuck yeah, I don't care. That's great.
Well, the other thing too is if he is coming from 70% down to 40, that doesn't mean you have to have him on the sideline 60% of the time or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that. All that means is that Lazard and Reynolds and Tyler Johnson don't have to be relied on to get 8 targets a game. Like, okay, have Brees and Braylon in the backfield. You can motion Brees out wide. He can be your slot guy. He can do all, like, until I see Corley show a pulse and until I see Arian Smith taking like sweeps to the house, whatever, the number one guy for gadgets, all the gadget work, should be Brees Hall. He should have, like, again, it has to sort itself out, but he should have a lock on that. And not even just gadget stuff, but like he should be top 3 in targets. I already said it once. But that will allow you to, hey, bro, if you have Garrett out wide, Brees on the other side, you got Mason Taylor in the middle, and Braylon behind you with Fields, all of a sudden it's hard to contain. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential for this running game. Like, there's a lot of hands that can take that ball and do something with it. And it's not even just the running backs and Fields. Like Corley, maybe Arian Smith. You know, there's just a lot of potential there. So yeah, I mean, I think we should be a run heavy. Excuse me, a run heavy team this year. And there's a lot of guys that are capable to do it, and they need to give everybody a chance. They need to give Corley a chance. Like, let him on the field, see what he can do. Um, I just, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited to see what this coaching staff does because our old coaching staff was set in their ways. Like they did what they did and they hardly ever changed it up. If they did change it up, their back was against the wall and it was pretty much too late at that point. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of potential and there's a lot of things that this coaching staff can try and they should try. This is a year to try things. You're implementing your system. You want to try things out. So that's the way I look at it. But anyway, yeah. So Hazel Goldschlager, I'll be honest with you, I never tried it. Never tried it. So, but I was talking about foods. Okay. Um, when I'm drunk, I get the munchies like a motherfucker. Anyway, um, and yes, Red Bull with Jaeger, but Jaeger, you can't shoot Jaeger warm. I learned that lesson. That stuff's got to be ice cold. Anyway, appreciate you guys coming in the chat. We got a couple new. We got Johnny in here now. Uh, Johnny had on his show right before us. Him and Snowball had the great Gator McCluskey on there. So if you guys get a second after this or tomorrow or whatever, check that show out. I got it on my watch list along with the Sabo and yeah, my God, I don't have enough time in the day, but yeah, I'll have plenty of time over the next week to get caught up on my content.
Murph, you said it, man. Johnny, welcome. I saw you pop in here. Tyson, you're killing it down there. Hayes, DKB, you mentioned all of them, like our OG gang. Appreciate them. Also, if you're watching from Twitter, appreciate you guys over there. Like, retweet, come over to YouTube, whatever you want to do, man. Just watch. Just appreciate it. But just know over here on YouTube, occasionally you'll see. We'll put the chat up. This is all the people on YouTube talking. If you got FOMO because you're not seeing this all the time on our screen, or there's something that someone's saying over here that you want to counter, come over to YouTube, man. Check our bio, check my bio at least. It'll bring you here, and you can chime in. You can create a burner on YouTube and totally troll the hell out. We don't care, man. We just we like the engagement here, and honestly, it's good to hear other takes. Murph, this next segment, I do want to hear from the chat about because it's something where, like, I mean, I asked you for a 3-person list. I'm doing a 3-person list. I want the people in the chat to have their own 3-person list. Can they agree with us? Yes. Do they have, they may disagree with us, but what the hell am I talking about? The title of the show is Jets Rising Stars, right? We have some stars. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 guys in fantasy drafts last year had a case for going in the first round. Like, maybe not this year, but last year we did. So we have a guy that was an all-pro more than once. We have another guy that his last contract was $96 million. And these are all different guys. We have another guy who we just picked up the 5th-year option on. We have another guy that's playing on their 5th-year option. Like, these are like 6 or 7 guys. But what I asked you this week was to give me a list of 3 guys that are kind of gonna like be the next 6 guys. You know what I mean? Like we're looking for not who is a star, but with a new regime coming in, new offense coming in, new defense. Now we're going to be blitzing. Now we're going to be playing press man coverage. We're going to do some RPO on offense. Not too many deep shots. Well, maybe deep shots. However you envision the offense to be, however you envision the defense to be, could play into it. But who are the New York Jets stars of tomorrow? Who are the guys we're drafting in the first round of fantasy 2 years from now, 3 years from now? Like, who is next man up? So I don't want to hear Garrett Wilson. I don't want to hear Sauce Gardner on your list because they're already known names. And I don't just mean in the Jets. Like, they're known by Frisco fans and they're known by Seahawks fans. So without further ado, I'm going to let you go first. Give me the number one candidate to you for being a Jets rising star.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna start off by saying, like, this is important. Like, just because we have a core for our team doesn't mean like that's it. Like, oh, we're good, we're good. No, that doesn't last 2 decades. You know, money permitting, you can get it to last for 7 or 8 years. You know, but that doesn't last. So you have to keep bringing these guys in, bringing new batches of guys in that can be the core of your team or supplement the current core of the team until they can become the core of the team. So it's super important, man. Like that's something that I tend to nerd out a little bit for, like, for building a roster, like, and drafting and stuff. Like, I think a lot of us do, but um, this is important. And so hopefully we do have guys coming in, because if we couldn't make lists of 3 each, we'd be pretty screwed, man. This team would not have a we'd have a pretty bleak future. So, all right, the first guy, I don't think that there is a single person in here that doesn't think I was going to have this guy on my list. He is the weapon of mass destruction. I like to call him Will McDonald. Now, Will McDonald had a farm. I couldn't help myself. He had a good season last year. He had, what, 11 sacks, right? So you could argue, like, oh, he's already there. Well, I mean, you kind of want to see more than one season out of a guy, right? And then also, people were pretty hard on him over his run defense, and that's fair. You know, I mean, he is 245 pounds. It's, playing on the defensive line at that light of a weight, you do tend to get thrown around a little bit. So if he gets a little weight on him, maybe he can improve that or whatever. But even if he doesn't, if he builds off of last season and continues this streak and he's getting double-digit sacks every year, that's a core piece of your team. Like, it truly is. Like, if you got a guy that can stay relatively healthy and get you double-digit sacks every year, he's going to get paid. Like, that is a star of your team, because that's a very important thing. Pass rush is king in the NFL because it's a passing league, and these quarterbacks, they're so good nowadays. Even the mediocre quarterbacks, like the Derek Carrs or the Geno Smiths, whatever you want to say, like the mid or slightly above average guys, like, they're better at deciphering defenses and they will shred you, than the mid-tier quarterbacks of, like, the year 2000. So pass rush is king. Whether you're getting it interior or outside, pass rush is king. It's very important, and that's the guy, man. That's going to be a very integral part of our defense, and he's going to be a rising star, in my opinion. I think he's already shown glimpses of it, and I think he's only going to get better. And I think his run defense can get better too. But even if not, like, you can just use him for pass rushing downs, and if he still makes that kind of impact, then that's great. That's what you need him for.
Facts, dude. I'm with you. Some in the know would say he's already a star. I don't think he is, because I think if we polled 32 fan bases, I think very few would know who the hell he is. And we had a hell of a lot of primetime games last year. Like there might be a few that vaguely know him. Another year, uh, the year that you think he's going to have, I think you pull them same teams again, and at least 50%, if not 75% of teams know the stud defensive end on the Jets that's just spinning everybody in like a blender. Um, Dude, like 10 and a half, according to ESPN, 10 and a half sacks last year. Some would say 9, somewhere in that 9 to 11 range he had last year. Bro, he might top that. I think he will. What say you about his sack number? Does it go up or stay the same?
I think. See, it's not going down. I don't think it's going down. I think it's either staying the same or it's going up. I think last year when you're watching him, he's kind of doing it by himself. Like it's him and Quinnen out there, and Quinnen is just getting double teamed and like you know what I mean. Like he can't do it by himself in the interior there, man. Like I mean he can, but he's
You got
limited.
Jermaine coming back to help.
Jermaine was out. Jermaine's coming back, guys. Like, and he's a pretty effective edge rusher himself. Um, so I think that having a guy across from him to take a little extra attention is only going to benefit him. So I think that he's either the same or better this coming year.
Facts. I like it. If he gives us the same and Jermaine gives us like we had Michael Clemens on the other side last year, man. So I think I'm cool with Will McDonald doing the same with Jermaine on the other side. Like that would be because as a group, a D line group, that sack number is going up regardless. It is
Let me ask
very
you
good. Yeah.
if Will McDonald got 10.5 sacks for 4 years straight, exactly 10.5 sacks. What's he getting paid? Just ballpark. Just throw out a ballpark number out there.
At least 20 a year.
At least 20 a year. It
At
might be close
least.
to 30.
It might. It might. Yeah.
So that's a star in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like in that draft, we traded down with Green Bay, whatnot. They took Lucas Van Ness. The Steelers took Broderick Jones. We took Will McDonald. We did not get the third best guy out of those three teams that were like vying. We did not. Some would say we got the best of the three, but even like just for argument's sake, we at least got second, which is good. Screw you, Pittsburgh, trading up ahead of us, taking Broderick Jones. Now you're moving him to the other side of the line and praying that he keeps a 42-year-old off the flat, like off the stretcher. Come on, we'll see, we'll see. But you're right. I did telegraph this pick for you, brother. It's all yours. As I could telegraph this one for you, I think that you could telegraph this one for me, as the chat probably could too. I'm just going to throw it on the screen, man, but the chat probably already knows. Zero. Agent Zero, man, which let me just say, I'm not a fan of that nickname. It's him, though, so I can't knock it. I think he's a bulldozer, man. And I tracked this stat all last year. You guys are probably sick of hearing me say it, but I wanted to double check it because I wasn't sure of the exact percentage he did. But I mean, let's face it. First off, the first 5 weeks of last year, he was the best back on the team. He should have been in goal line situations. He probably would have had a couple more touchdowns. But no, we threw Brees out there and he got stonewalled. Or else this kid, Agent Zero, would probably have had 6 touchdowns last year. But what he did, like he started out second fiddle for sure, but like come week 3, 4, 5, 6, he was almost like back 1B. But then second half of the season, for some reason, he just became a short yardage back, it seemed like. And honestly, 2 games last year, he had double-digit carries. Those were not his best games. I think 3 games, actually. I think he had like 2.7 yards a carry when he had 12 touches. He had like 3, like his best. He is a change of pace back to me. If Brees, something happens, we trade him, he gets injured. I don't think Braylon is a bell cow. I'm not saying that at all. Change of pace guy or a second half just bulldoze. Like, it'd be cool to use Brees in the first half, Braylon in the second half. That would be awesome. But long story short, I'm kind of rambling. 16 times this kid got the ball with 1 or 2 yards to go. So 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 1. 16 times he got it. 14 times he converted it out of 16. So yeah, insane, man, alien stuff. Because you know why? Because he always falls forward. He always does. He's a weapon. If Brees returns to his former self and Braylon just takes that natural little baby step forward, this team's going to be dangerous. It is. But I think he's a rising star just because I don't know if Brees is on this team next year. I don't know if Brees is finishing this year on this team. I don't know if Brees is going to return to his former self. All that added together means that Braylon is going to have a more sizable role. He had 92 carries last year. He's going to have more. And I do believe he's going to do more with them. He's just, bro, he is like an Adonis out there. You look at the practice photos, the practice clip, his thighs are ginormous. Like, I'm rambling. Talk to me. What is your take? Am I crazy? Is this not a New York Jets star of tomorrow?
I don't think you're crazy because, like I was talking about earlier, I think all 3 of these backs have a chance to make a name for themselves. Not just on this team, but in the NFL. Um, and like you said, he's an Adonis out there. That's for sure. At least he backs up, his look on the field, unlike the other guy that we have that was kind of built like a Greek god. Not going to bring him up. And the important thing is, like you said, he, at the very least, he falls forward on every play, and that's something that you need out of a short yardage back. And if that's his role, and he does it good, then that's great. But if he can give us more, that's even greater. Um, and I think Glenn's gonna like that about him. That's the one thing. Like, Glenn likes ball players. He likes feisty guys. He wants guys that are going to do whatever it takes to pull the game. Excuse me, pull the game out. So I think that Aaron Glenn is really going to love him some Braylon Allen. I really do. He's he's the type of player that's going to fit on this team for sure. So he's got a hell of a chance to be a star. I considered him, but like you said, it was telegraphed. I knew Dame was going there. I was like, he's going to get his hour. Agent Zero is going to get his hour. So I didn't bother putting him on the list.
All right, brother. Up to you. Who is your second candidate? Chat, as the chat files in and fills out their own forms, let us know down there, guys. Who are your top 3? Who's got the stock on the Jets that's going to rise the highest? Talk to us. Murph, you had Will McDonald as your number 1. Who is your number 2?
Okay. If you guys watch the show, which I know a lot of the people here in the chat do, they know that I preach in the draft, eat your veggies, draft your linemen, get them big guys up front, protect the quarterback, open up holes for the running backs. That's where it starts. That's where winning starts. You see teams like the Lions, right? That's what they did well. They had an excellent offensive line, and they ended up winning 13 or so games last year. So that's how you win in the NFL. You bully people with the offensive line. So one of the guys I considered Fashanu, but I'm just not as dead set, and it wasn't in my heart. I'm not. He could very well be, but the guy that is in my heart that I would actually put money on being a very solid player for us for probably the rest of his career, God willing. I think it's not the whole thing, but just the tip, man. Joe Tipman he's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be a guy for us for real. He's got the athletics. He's got the build. But it's not just that. He has the mindset, man. Like if you listen to him in interviews, he's dedicated to football. Like, and he loves it, and he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He wanted to learn from Aaron last year, and I'm sure he probably did learn a lot of things from him. And we're only just getting started with him. I think this is a guy that a lot of teams will pull their guards and stuff. I think you can pull the center with him, man. I think that he's the type of guy you can get him out in the field ahead of Brees Hall or Braylon Allen or whoever it is, and he could be lead blocking and pave the way for a touchdown. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think that he can be just an absolute anchor for us in our offensive line from here till the day he decides to retire. He can be our next Mangold. Knock on wood.
If I what if I asked you, do you think that he will lead a top 5 O-line in the NFL before his rookie deal is over? Would you say yes or no?
In his career was a definite yes, but before his rookie deal, and he was drafted in the second round, so it's not a 5-year deal. I still think, yeah, I think it's very possible. We got it set, man. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to figure out what to do about AVT and John Simpson over there with our guards, but we can re-sign one or maybe even both of those players. It'd be nice to re-sign both, but depends on how the contracts work and money works. I think that our guards have shown us potential. Fashanu showed his potential last year. I like Mimbu a lot. I really think Mimbu can be a stud for us. And Titman, I liked what I saw out of him last year, and if he builds on it, he's going to be a stud for us. So I don't see why not. A lot of it is just cohesion after a while, though. So we'll have to see how these guys work together, and if they can glue together well, I could see it. Top 5 O line within 3 years from now.
Agreed, brother. If you didn't pick him, I was going to pick him just because I just love the idea of, because I don't think Brees will run up the middle as much as he has in the past. I think it'll be Braylon and Davis. And with our guards and Tipman, that IOL with Braylon and Fields in the like, it's going to be literally tip of the spear, baby. Just pile drive that D line. So I'm with you, man. And honestly,
You're really walking the line with the innuendos here.
well, the other thing is, like, how do you become a star? That's kind of a stupid question, but what helps? Marketability. Bro, you're in the center of the O line and your last name is Tipman. That's marketable as hell. So I do think more opposing fans will remember Joe Tipman should he take a next step, take 2 next steps. I just think that He's a character. He's got that Wisconsin waterfall. Solid choice by you, man. You got two solid choices on your roster already. Um, Me, I started with Braylon Allen. I will say, after these three guys, and we already named so many guys that we didn't even consider because they're kind of already made. But after these three we chose tonight, it gets a little murky. And this is where I want to kind of see where the chat's at. Like, if you eliminate the 6 or 8 guys we talked about, the 2022 draft class for the most part, and Quinnen, the Williams, the Sherwoods of the world who already got paid, you take away Will McDonald, take away Tippmann, you take away Braylon Allen, who's next? And not just to name names, but who do we actually think could become a star? I do have a candidate. It might be hard to see. Not as hard to see as my next candidate, but this guy is A.Z. Thomas, Azarie Thomas. And I'll tell you why. Not because I've been drinking the Ricky New York Kool-Aid. That's not why. uh, the why is because this kid is good. He was in college on a bad team, yes. But he's a stud, man. He's a rangy guy. He's a press guy. Also, I think that under Glenn, I guess I kind of spoke too much about the secondary in the open for the show, but it all applies to now. I do think the back end of the team is going to be the strength. Whether it's the entire strength or just the strength of the D, we'll see. But I think this kid pops. It might not be in year one, but guess what? Brandon Stevens signed a 3-year deal. You look at the guaranteed money, it's basically a 1.5 year deal. It's a year and a tryout. It's 2 years max if you really wanted to, So, like, this kid's either, honestly, in year one, I could see this kid being our CB2B, if that makes sense. Like, him and Stevens are like neck and neck. But then 2026, I expect it to kind of flip. Or we'll just have 3 great corners. We'll see. But in this scheme, love this kid. And I do think he's going to be a known player, especially if he wins out against Stevens and he's the guy across from Sauce Gardner. What's that mean? It means he's going to get targeted more and he's going to have way more opportunities to make a name for himself, to get a pick, to get PBUs, to make a Pro Bowl because he has 20 PBUs and 4 picks. Like, I like this kid's stock, where it is now and where it can go. What say you about Azarie Thomas cracking this list? And he's only been on this team for a hot second.
Okay. So I like how you insist on saying his full name. I'm not even trying. Just AZ is good with me. Um, but there's a lot of guys out there, and there's a lot of guys that know a lot more about football than me out there, like the Domseys of the world and the Joe Blewitts and so. There's a lot of guys out there that are saying Azarie Thomas is the real deal. You know, they get out there, they watch the film. I watched a little bit. I haven't done any. I haven't gone full in on it, but um, yeah, he had some good tape in college. I'm normally the type that's like, the combine means something, but it doesn't mean everything. And normally I am the type that's like, whatever, a bad 40 is a bad day or whatever, or maybe he just, he's faster with pads on, and that's legit. That can be a thing. But I still think that I'm not going to just throw caution to the wind because of it. Like I need to see him hang with NFL receivers because there's a lot of speed in college. There's a lot more speed in the NFL, you know, and these guys know how to utilize the speed. It's not just like, oh, I'm fast, that's that, like these guys know how to work their hands and release. They know how to make their breaks, to make their cuts, and I got to see Azarie See, I did it. I did it. I'm proud of myself. I got to see AZ Thomas um, do it in the NFL, and if he does, I'll be the quickest one to flip the script and say that's my guy. You know what I mean?
I
But right
do.
now, I have some hesitation, um, and I guess we're just gonna have to see how the season goes.
Yep.
I'm going to say, last thing, I'm more confident in us only having one stud cornerback than three stud cornerbacks.
Yeah. Fair. I will say that AZ Thomas went in the third round, but a lot of people, man, thought that he should have been fringe first round, early second. So I don't think it's like a stretch by any means, but you're right. He does still have to do it. Um, but again, I did kind of preface it with like this kind of we're in a middle, we're in a gray area, so to speak. I did go super young. I'm kind of really curious where you are going with your third selection because the obvious choices are dwindling. So enough on Az Thomas. Where are you going with your third selection, Murph? Talk to me.
Well, I don't know. I thought about a lot of different guys, right? And I sat back, I took a look at our rookies, and I wanted to put one on here because I think there's a couple of potential, and you mentioned one just now. Um, I think a guy that's being put in a position to where it's like, if you want it, take it. There's a guy out there right now, and I'm just gonna say it. Another guy from a college in the great state of Florida. We got Mason Taylor. I think that Mason Taylor has a really solid chance to be our tight end one for years to come. And I think that he'll make a name for himself. The NFL is going to know the name. Maybe he won't be a Travis Kelsey type of tight end where he's top of the draft charts is for tight end every year, year in and year out, or whatever. But I think he's going to be somebody that teams aren't afraid to take, or not teams, but people. Like, you know, I think people are going to be like, yeah, that dude's been doing it for a few years now. Like, I think he'll be solid. I'll wait to take a tight end later and get him. Because I know that he's going to be there and he's going to do his thing. I think that's going to be him. And he's already sounds like he's hitting the ground running with his blocking already. I think he's got a really good chance, man. I think he's going to be one of our rising stars coming up. And it's not the obvious pick like Armand Membu. I really,
Yeah,
I didn't want to go obvious with it. I think Taylor really does have a chance, man.
I hey, we talked about it too. Like, how do you become a star as a tight end? Target share. He's gonna have a huge. At least he has to earn it, but like he can have a massive target share right off the bat. How do you become a household name and a star? Well, popping in fantasy. That's one way. That helps. That introduces you to all types of people. If all of a sudden you're catching 5 balls a game, every other fan base is going to know you because you're going to be killing them in fantasy. But not only that, like if you're getting targeted 6, 7, 8 times a game, the national circuit will know you. But also, can you tell me anything special about this kid that might propel him to star status sooner that you can think of?
There's two things. I think he's got the physicals for one. Like he's built like a tight end. I think that he can with his body type, his athleticism, he's got a very good shot at doing it. And the other thing was it's in here, man. Like the mentals, and I'm not talking about just like his mentality. I'm talking about the shit that he was taught. Like we know that he has the lineage. Like Jason Taylor was his dad. That's an absolute stud for the Dolphins. Somebody that we didn't love for a lot of years until like one year we did love him. But his dad taught him how to be an NFL player. You know he did. I mean, your kid's going to call like a big time college, and he's doing it big. I don't know. Yeah, so he's definitely teaching him, telling him like, hey, this is how we act in the NFL. This is how we do things. This is how we approach our game. And I think that goes a long way. You know, he's always got him to fall back on when he has questions and whenever he has, you know, concerns about how to approach certain things and stuff like that. So I think that that makes a big difference, and I think that he's got the athleticism to do it. You know, and the mentality. I don't know. I just like the player in general. Like there's not. I don't really see many downfalls in Mason
Yeah.
Taylor. That's why I'm confident in calling him a rising star.
Honestly, I wish I knew we were getting him when we got rid of Conklin because, like, I was bummed about Conklin, but like, this kid is way more than Conklin. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like seeing green and all this. No, like, you're right. Like, this kid is legit promising. Hall of Fame dad, Hall of Fame uncle, big program, used to the bright lights. Like, what, 1,200 yards last year or some shit. Um, just sit in the zone. And that's the other thing. It's not just that. It's like this offense is ready for him. Just sit down and catch and turn. I don't even care about your yak, even though like you're supposed to be good at yak. Like just catch the open shots because you're gonna be targeted, man. You just get ready. Just show us your mitts and
I
secure
think
the ball because good.
I think I think he's got the body style to even be boxing people out for contested catches and things like that. You know, like Conklin, like he was, you know, I think he was like 6'3" or maybe I don't know. Um, like he was a big dude and stuff like that, but I just didn't see that physicality in the passing game out of him. Like he was a solid catcher, you know, and I appreciate Conklin. I was a Conklin guy. He caught the ball pretty well for the most part, and he had a hell of a rocker step, man. That was one thing that he was pretty good at in the passing game. But beyond that, I didn't see a whole lot that impressed me, you know. And I think that Mason Taylor has the potential to do more than just that, you know. I think that he can affect the game in a lot of different ways, both blocking and receiving.
Facts. I'm with you, man. I'm jealous that you chose him because he would have been my third choice here. And I want to get that out the way before I list my third choice because I feel like I could get some pushback on this one, if not from you, then from the chat. But hear me out because I will try my best to defend it. So let me get Mason Taylor off the board here. Who, bro, I'm legit excited about. It would not shock me if this Christmas he wasn't a top jet selling jersey. Is that a lot to say?
For rookies,
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's got a Brees jersey and a Garrett jersey and a Sauce jersey. So yeah, I could see some Mason Taylor jerseys under the Christmas tree, is what I'm saying.
yeah, dude, he gives me like franchise player type vibes. You know what I mean? Like I can see him playing for us for a long time. You know, so I could definitely see him being somebody that has a lot of jerseys out there
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
and it's more exciting. Like no one's getting a Membu jersey. Membu's not on my list because it's not sick. He's not going to become a star, man. If he's great, you should never hear him. You know, you should not know his name. Like you don't want to like Mekhi Becton. We all know his name because it was being called while he was getting spun around all the time. But like Membu, I want to set and forget Membu. Mason Taylor, I think we'll hear his name a lot. I think that lends itself to star power, especially since his dad was a star, his uncle. Like, yeah. Anyways, my next one, again, might not be clear to see. Arian Smith is my third choice for the next crop of New York Jet stars, rising stars. And here is the reason why I chose him. And not just because we mentioned it at the top. If you're already a star, you're eliminated. If you're already paid, you're eliminated. Um, all that jazz, whatever. Hold on here 1 second. All right, cool. He's a burner. One of one on this team, in my opinion. But not only that, a burner, like, okay, so, and here's the reason why I think people are going to know the name Arian Smith. This team is built short to intermediate, right? We got the running game, we got the O line. We even Garrett's more of a short to intermediate guy until he proves otherwise. That's Garrett to me. Mason Taylor, maybe a short to intermediate, man. I don't see anybody getting those home runs. Besides here and there, obviously a coverage breakdown or you just cook a guy, but like consistently, that's this guy. But not only that, like it only works if you target him. You can't just have him running nines all game and never target him. It's not going to push the secondary back. It's not going to get the safety to shade over that way at all unless you send him a couple bombs a game. Now, someone will say, well, he drops some balls, whatever. He drops 3 out of 10. Well, guess what? I counter that with 7 out of 10 could be touchdowns because he's going to be that deep shot guy. And guess what? Early reports out of camps, out of OTAs or whatever, is that he's cooking everybody, that his separation is massive. There's no pads on. But I'd rather hear that than just hear, oh, he's blending in. Oh, we'll see. No, people are. Say it again.
He's getting used to the playbook.
Yeah. Bro, we've heard all that. Denzel Mims, we never heard, bro is getting so much separation. He's just cooking guys. No, I never heard that one time. But this kid, yes. But also, like, again, I think he's an instant impact as a decoy. Minimum. He is going to help there. But I don't think it lasts unless you send him some deep shots. And I do think he drops some balls. But I think the ones he does catches are touchdowns. And I think that will, like, bro, it took Xavier Gibson 1 touchdown to become a mini star. If this kid catches 6 his rookie year and they're all 50-yard bombs or whatever, it's going to get there. And that's why I think that this kid will be a star. It might not be a perfect gem diamond, but I think that you'll remember the name Arian Smith.
You reminded me of NCAA scouting when you said perfect gem diamond. I'm thinking of scouts. Anyway, yeah, dude. So the thing is like those type of plays are game changing plays. Like if your offense is struggling and you pull one of those off, momentum shift. Absolute momentum shift. All of a sudden, you're driving the ball down the field. They're scared he's going to burn them again, so they got 3 people dropping deep. So Brees is hitting the left edge and breaking it for 15 and this and that. Like that is a game changing play. So I know you were like, oh man, you took Mason Taylor and stuff like that. This dude was in my sights, man. I have not been down on him. Everybody was down on him when he was drafted. I was like, hey, I can kind of see it. Like, I think it was me and Johnny were like the only ones were like, hey, I don't know if it's that bad of a pick. Like, the dude, if you watch his tape in college, obviously we have no pro tape to watch yet. If you watch his tape in college, this dude, like when people say he's a burner, like there's a lot of burners in the NFL, but this dude has real deal speed, and I love hearing that. Santana Moss was my guy, dude. I used to when I played Madden, I would always if I didn't have him, even when he went to the Redskins, I would trade for his ass because I love Santana Moss. But yeah, if we got like Santana Moss type stuff out of Arian Smith, yeah, I think that he can definitely impact a game, and at the very least, he can impact a game as a decoy, like you said earlier. This dude, he is so fast. if this quarterback is in shotgun, I know I've said this a couple times, but if the quarterback is in shotgun and he snaps the ball, by the time he hit the ball hits his hands and he starts his drop back, Arian Smith has 3 yards on his corner already and is about to have 10 within by the time the quarterback even finishes his drop back, like 10 yards of separation. I mean, the dude is so fast, and like there's fast guys in the NFL, and then there's just fast guys like Tyreek Hill type stuff. And I think that I'm not saying Arian Smith is Tyreek Hill, but I think that he has that type of speed to him, man, and that can make a difference. But yeah, he may drop some balls, but we're not going to be that upset over like 5, 6 big time drop. I don't know. If we're not going to be that upset over that many drops, if he's also catching 6 or so touchdowns on bombs every year, because where you have one down missed because he dropped the ball, you're going to have 7 points because he caught that bomb and burnt that corner. It's just, I think the good outweighs the bad with this kid, and he does have a chance. I wasn't quite there saying that he's going to do it, but I definitely have my eye on him because I think he could.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's a leap. It could happen. And again, I think the key. I think is a lot of people will say that he'll never get there with the drops. I think he'll get there in spite of them, just because I think his targets will be so like his yards per target are going to be massive. Man, there is I don't see any short targets for him or even medium targets because we have Brees, Garrett, Mason Taylor, Lazard, like everybody on the team is short to intermediate. So why are you targeting Arian Smith short to just send him deep? Don't at least decoy and then boom, caught you napping, gotcha. And Fields has the arm. That's the other thing. So we'll see. But to recap, guys, I just want to recap this list one more time. And we have people joining us late, so I do feel the need to mention rising stars are not stars already. Like, let me get Arian off of my chin here, although it does make my beard look a little longer than it is. Jermaine just got paid, or I'm sorry, Jamian Sherwood just got paid, so he is not a rising star. Quincy's already a star. Quinnen, our 2022 class is already made. They're on the scene already. This is that next wave of guys. We went back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Murph, who was your number one more time?
My bad. I muted myself. Anyway,
You're
my
fine.
one was the weapon of mass destruction, Will McDonald.
Love it.
I know, big shocker for everybody.
My number one was Agent Zero, Braylon Allen, who's going to have way more than 92 carries this year, in my opinion. Hell, bro, if we trade Brees on Halloween, this kid down here might get 200 carries. We'll see. Anyways, your number two, Murph.
Titman, our center. I think we got our next Nick Mangold, guys. Just putting it out there.
Love it. My number two, A.Z. Thomas. A.Z. It's as easy as, oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. A.Z. Thomas. Azarie, I know. I don't know what he prefers. Hopefully he prefers A.Z. Be a lot easier. All right, that was my number two. Your number three, Murph.
My number three is Mason Taylor. I think that we might finally have us a franchise tight end, guys. I think the last franchise tight end we had, maybe a lot of people consider Dustin Keller, but what did he have? Like a 6-year run with us? I don't know. Like I'm thinking Mason Taylor can give us 8 or 10.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. From the swamps of Louisiana to the carpet of MetLife Field, Mason Taylor.
Yeah. and I totally butchered the college. I don't know why. Why? For some reason, I was thinking it's because his dad played for Miami. I'm thinking Miami, but yeah, it was LSU. That's on me, guys.
They didn't catch it. All good, brother. And then we go from Louisiana swamps to the Georgia Dome. Actually, I don't even know if they call it that. I don't think they do. But the Bulldogs, Georgia, the Johnny Boy Special, Arian Smith, baby. Um, I again, this doesn't have to. They don't have to be stars by January. We're saying they'll be stars, though. Take it to the bank, baby. Uh, all right, that is our list. Murph, I don't know if you need to step away. If you do, that's fine. We don't have much longer here. Call-in line is down in the comments. We got about 30 minutes left. Scott, if you want to call in, Johnny Boy, Snowball, anyone down there, you want to call in, tell us, did we miss someone? Did we not just miss someone? Did we put someone in that's just gnawing at you, man? Tell us who your three would be. Feel free.
Well,
Uh,
we're waiting for them to do that, Dane. I want to ask you: is there a player that you had you were just set on? You were like, I'm gonna put him on the list, and you just kept thinking it, kept thinking it, kept thinking it, and then you're just like, I can't commit. Like that's such a long shot. I can't commit. Who was that like long shot guy that you were thinking about?
well, very good question because honorable mentions are needed here. Well, let me ask you, I do have one, and I want to get to that. So let's not name everybody, but let me ask you, I was struggling with guys that are semi stars right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really wanted my number one guy, not number three. My number one guy I wanted to be Jermaine because I feel like not many people know him. He is injured, but then I'm like, you know what? No, enough people know him. Uh, so I, I do want to answer your question, but real quick, where did you land on guys like Brees, Jermaine, guys that are semi fields, even guys that are already semi made?
Yeah, if there was a guy that was already semi-made, it actually wasn't even going to be one of those guys. I think Jermaine definitely has a case. All those guys do. The guy that came to my head where I was like, I don't know, man. That last year, like, he's going to be the guy, and that was Sherwood actually. Um, I think that Sherwood, and we already signed him. That was the other thing is we already re-signed him. So I didn't even bother putting him on the list. I was like, but to me that was the guy. But I think Jermaine also has a really solid case for that. But it's just the matter of those guys kind of already there, man. Like Jermaine was on that show and everything. Like he was like one of the big players on, at so Jermaine's name's out there. Sherwood made a name for himself last year, leading the league in tackles.
Good point. Good point. So, okay, aside from the semi maids, I did have like a number four if we're talking like who could have got in that mix. And honestly, he would have, but there was one thing that said no. That guy for me was Cisco, Andre Cisco. And the reason why, I mean, I've talked about it all show. I'm really high on the projection of this secondary, this back end. I feel like it's going to be top five in the league. Cisco, I think, is going to be an integral part of that. The devil on my shoulder talked me out of it, though. And you know what his case was? His case was you got that guy on a 1 year deal. Yep. That is the only reason, man. Uh, if it was even a 2 year deal, and there's a short on this channel, you saying that like you wish it was a 2 year deal, I'm with you. If it was even, and I mean, Obviously, I prefer 3 or 4 year deal. I wish it was a rookie, like he was a rookie, but like even a 2 year free agent deal would have been enough for him to be my number 3 on this list. What do you think of Cisco? And do you have a fourth guy that just missed the cut?
Yeah, so Dane, you're speaking my language, man. Cisco was a guy that I was high on. It's my favorite signing that we made this offseason. I think he has a real shot to just be like a solid stud safety throughout his career. 4 or 5 Pro Bowls to his career, maybe even a second team All Pro one year. Like I think that he has that potential. Really bummed that we didn't sign him for one more year, and he was he was definitely a guy that I had on my mind too. Um, I guess you could say rising star, whether it's with the Jets or not. You know, and he may outplay us this year. He may play so well this year that he outprices it. You know what I mean? Like we can't afford to pay him because all of a sudden some teams like, holy shit, that's a gem right there. Um, so yeah, Cisco's definitely one of them guys. I think. Okay, so a, a fourth guy, there was 2 of them that I was like, Um, I'm going to go with the one, and I mentioned him earlier. We had a little bit of a discussion on him earlier. I think the only reason I didn't put him on the list is because I'm not sure about the playing time because we have an absolute stud starting in that exact position with that exact play style. So I'm talking about Leonard Taylor III again. I think that guy has a real chance to be an impact player in the NFL for years to come. I think that he has the physicals if he gets his mind right, you know, and he's around vets now, man. Vets can coach. Vets can tell him, hey, like, well, that's not how we do it. Like, if you really put your mind right, you got the talent to keep this up. Like, keep up the pressure. So, I think Leonard Taylor III could be a rising star. I just didn't put him up there because we have Quinnen both playing him and Quinnen playing like 3 tech. You're an idiot if you don't give Quinnen the bulk of the snaps, even as high as you could be on Leonard Taylor.
He probably won't get enough snaps to get that star status. Yeah, I'm with you. I am, barring injury, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have another one you want to list? Because if not, we have a third voice that wants to throw their hat in the ring. We could jump straight to that.
Okay, so I do have another guy on my list, and I'm gonna drop it and run.
Okay.
So you don't yell at me, because I'm bringing another rookie into the mix here. I'm high on Malachi Moore, guys. I think you know what we saw out of like Chuck Clark, right? Maybe wasn't what we expected to see. Of course, we got him. He got injured right off the bat, and it was, then he was coming back from the injury the next year. So it's, that kind of threw a wrench into the mix. But there's a lot of us that watched the film on him in his previous years, and we were like, that's a guy, like that may not be like Justin Simmons out there, but that's a guy that can hold up your back end of your defense. And that's what I'm picturing out of Malachi Moore. I can't get it out of my head. When I think of him, I think of like Chuck Clark with the Ravens type, like somebody that is going to go back there and just do his job and lead that back end of that defense. Like I can't get it out of my head. Maybe I'm crazy and he can't even fucking make the roster. Who knows? But I think he's not only going to make the roster, but he might be a starter for us for years.
Yeah. You know what? I early indications out of sessions, whatever you want to call them, are that he's looking good. And I'm also high on him. You're higher because you're thinking possible star, and that's fine. I here's where I am. I think we look back on it as an excellent pick on day 3. We traded up to get him, and I think it makes Muji look pretty damn good. He's a starter for years to come. I don't know that it'll get to star status. I don't know like how his ball hawking skills are and stuff like that, but like you said, he's going to be a guy you trust back there. He's going to be reliable, hopefully in position to make plays, just whether or not, like Brandon Stevens, he's going to be in position to make plays. Can he finish plays? Going to be huge. Dude, when you have Sauce Gardner, like if the safeties can make plays on balls, they can really stand out. So it's going to be interesting. We do have a caller on the line, Murph. Do you have until the top of the hour, or do you got a bolt?
Well, I gotta put the kid out of bed real quick, and I can come back.
That's fine, man. Feel free. This guy, I'm confident I can handle for a few. Do your thing, brother. We'll talk to you in a few. Yes, sir. This guy, I think this is Scott in the Woods. If I can see through the green room here, let me see. Let me see.
No lights out
Hey,
here. There's no lights. I'm
Snowball,
out in the
what's
backyard.
what is up, dude? I haven't
What's
heard.
going on, man?
Hey, I saw you were on with Gator. I saw at the last minute you were on with Gator. Awesome, man. Me and
Yeah,
you were cornering the market on Friday nights. How you doing, brother?
right. Yeah, good, man. Yeah, Gator's the man, man. He's definitely a dude. That's for sure. Yeah, it was really nice to have him on the show this evening, and we just wanted to show a different side of Gator. He's everyone sees him as the maniac, but he's a human being like everybody else. So pretty cool to talk to him for a little while about the Jets, and get his takes on what's been happening. So that was cool. Um, in regards to the topic of your show, about that. Um, you guys are talking about, I guess, future stars of the Jets. Um, really, really high this season, number one on Will McDonald. I know that Murph mentioned Will McDonald, and I really think that that guy's going to shine this season. With the amount of blitzing that they're talking about, and him putting on a little bit of weight, being able to, push his weight around, maybe set the edge a little bit more this season. I think Will McDonald's going to make a big difference. He really he made an impact his first season. First season full time with the 10 plus. So you know, I foresee him probably taking that leap, getting up another. I'm hoping another 5 sacks. So getting to 15 would be fantastic for Will McDonald. Uh, I don't know what Murph said about him, but I really have a lot of faith in Will McDonald. Um,
Can I
him,
ask
I
you
mean,
something?
yeah, sure.
So on obvious passing downs last year, I
Hmm.
I feel like extra attention could have been paid to Will McDonald and not Clemens. So let me ask you, with Jermaine coming back, whether he's 100% or 90, uh, do you feel like that is going to be better for Will McDonald, statistically speaking, or do you think it's just a matter of Will himself and whether he can develop a second move, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think it's the idea of him progressing, learning what other moves to make besides that spin. If you watched any of the games, he was a half tick away from getting to the quarterback. There was a lot of shit that was happening with him, but yeah, definitely with the amount of pressure that they can put on, with the idea of the cornerbacks playing man, possibly, and slowing things down a little bit more for him, giving him that extra half second to get into the pocket and disrupt and touch the quarterback. Not even the quarterback, just like the idea of him being able to touch the ball, is really going to make the difference. He might not get the sacks, but touching the ball might be a big thing for him. So yeah, like I said, I have a lot of faith in Will McDonald. So that's my number one call for this show. The other person that I have a lot of faith in as a rising star would be Isaiah Davis. I know later on in the season, he was catching a lot of stuff out of the backfield, and he was making a lot of cool moves. So I foresee that happening again. Justin Fields being the person that's again going to rely heavily on the short game. I know a lot of people have faith in him in the long game too, but his bread and butter is going to be the short game. So Isaiah Davis could be a really impactful player, this season. A lot of people don't know a lot about him. A lot of teams don't have a lot of information on him. So he could be pretty deadly, in my
You know,
opinion.
there's a world like just go down a rabbit hole for me with me for 1 second. Like if we were to part with Brees,
Yeah.
there's a world where Isaiah Davis is the RB1. Do you disagree? And do you see my angle, or should I pitch my angle?
Yeah, pitch it a little bit further.
Well, like you said, great out of the back. Like he's a versatile back. Do you
Mm,
like? I again like Braylon Allen had more than 10 carries 3 times last year, and he only hit 4.0 yards per carry one of the three. The other
mhm.
two was very poor. So my theory is Isaiah Davis, who honestly 5.8 yards per carry last year, looked great.
Right.
Uh, not a lot of carries, so like I'm not writing home about that, but he looked good running the ball. If you made him RB1, then Braylon could stay in the natural role of being the spellback, but a larger share of the split. So like maybe a 55 Davis, 45 Allen. I think that would be my plan should Brees ever get traded. Am I crazy there? Can you see the
No,
vision?
you're not crazy. I see the vision. There was a point in time in the beginning of the season last year where, there were calls for Braylon Allen to be RB1. They were really high on him. They were like, replace Brees Hall with Braylon Allen. Now, if Brees is gone, well, I'm not saying that Braylon Allen's a one-trick pony, that he's, just up the middle brute force, but he's that scat back. Isaiah Davis is that scat back. He really is like the jackrabbit, really is, that versatile player. He almost reminds me of, I'm not saying that he has like the potential of a Curtis Martin, but he has the usefulness of a Curtis Martin, where he is
Usefulness is the
versatile enough.
key.
Yeah,
Yes. I mean, the
right?
dude was kickoff returning last year, and that's why, because we needed him. Like
Yeah.
you called him a jackrabbit. That's funny because
Mhm.
I see what you did there because South Dakota
Mhm.
State is the jackrabbit.
Right.
But Braylon, like you're right. Early on, he had enough of a case to be RB1. But the only thing I'm trying to say is, as we did give him a higher volume in single games, it didn't get better like we hoped. It
No.
got kind of and small sample size. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Where are you at with Brees? Like, is you got to see more before you decide? Because that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, my initial thought is that Breece Hall will have that breakout season this year. I think he will with the offensive line that we have, uh, and him being designated as our premier running back. eh, He'll get his opportunities, and I believe they will. With the way that Glenn is talking with these wide receivers being blockers before they're receivers, uh, you know, he hits the hole and breaks something. People are going to be blocking for him downfield, so he might have more than we expect. Uh, like I just think about that Green Bay game, where the entire Green Bay defensive side is chasing him down the field. Like that's a strong possibility this year with better blocking downfield. They're really stressing. Like even Garrett Wilson is saying that he has to become a better blocker. So we know Lazard can do it. We know that you know Garrett is being trained how to block better downfield. So You never know, man. I'm just thinking that we're really gonna. I think we're gonna see a better side of Brees Hall this year. Again, healed up, better, more confident, better scheme, better coaching. We'll see a 1,000 yard plus. Fingers crossed out of Brees Hall this year.
I
And I'm
love
lost
that.
on the third choice, man. I'm
See,
lost on
that's
the
where it
third
gets
choice.
it,
Yeah, I'm lost
it
on the
gets.
third choice.
Murph, do you have anything to say to Snowball about his choices of Will McDonald number 1, Isaiah Davis number 2?
Wow. Okay, so obviously he knows what he's talking about because he brought up Will McDonald. Uh, um, you're not going to hear a single complaint out of me. I'm with you. I'm actually conducting that train, I think. Um, and then Isaiah Davis. That's interesting. I really like Isaiah Davis a lot. Um, it's not crazy to even say that. I mean, he could be. We saw instances where he looked better than Braylon Allen last year, and I'm not even down on Braylon Allen. I'm not saying that but like in some there was games where Isaiah Davis every time he touched the ball he made more of it than what Braylon was. So
Mhm.
you know, and if Brees Hall still doesn't get his head out of his ass, and he ends up playing like he did last year and not seeing the holes, not hitting the holes, not running with a purpose like he, can do, maybe Isaiah Davis is the damn starter of our running back room. It could there's a world where that can happen. That's why when we talked earlier, and this might have even been before you even got on here, Snowball, but
Mhm.
um, they were talking. Who was it? Sabo had said that he could see it being like 40% carries Brees, 35% Braylon Allen, and then 25% Isaiah Davis. Like that's a real possibility. And when you have that high of a percentage for each of your top three backs, any one of those guys could get hot, take it, and run with it. You know, so it's a very high. I mean, not a high possibility, but it's a possibility for sure. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're an idiot for that because Isaiah Davis, he's a talented back. All
Well,
three of
not
our
only
talented.
and not only that, like we talked, like it could be 1 year window, but we were talking more so like next 2 to 3. I mean, what are the odds Brees is on this team next year? And then what does that look like? Isaiah Davis is going to have every chance to pop.
Yeah, I hope so.
Um, Snowball, you don't have a third, that's fine. But let me ask you this: if you could name one guy on the defense that you're most excited to see play this year, who would it be and why?
Sauce Gardner with the training from Glenn, with the influence of Glenn on him. I'm counting on that kid to be able to turn his head around and get at least 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions. You know, I think they can. I think he can influence him to be able to get his head around. He's great at putting his hands up, but now with that influence from Glenn to turn his head and actually anticipate when the ball's coming in, uh, and playing man more, covering the number one receiver on the other side of the field, you're going to see it. I think you're going to see it. You'll see an improved Mark from him. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, the Sauce thing, like Sauce is still a good corner even without the picks. Like, like he got first team All Pro 2 years in a row for a reason, and it
Yeah.
wasn't because getting a ton of interceptions. Um, I love to see 4, 5, 6 picks out of him in a year or several years. Yeah, that would be great. But if he has to change up who he is, and instead of playing the receiver, watching the receiver's hands and his reactions and getting his hand up at the right exact moment to make sure that receiver didn't catch the ball, and he instead turns around and potentially fakes and turns around too early, gets burnt, and becomes one of those guys where it's boom or bust with him. Either he gets you a pick six or he gets cooked on a touchdown. I'd rather him stay where he's at right now. You know what I mean? I think that as long as he, I know last year was a little rough for him. I think he still had a decent year, but compared to the standard that he had set for himself, that was a rough year. If he's the first or second year Sauce Gardner and he's like that for the rest of his career, I'm totally happy with it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there. I understand we want to see interceptions as Jets fans. We haven't gotten to see a whole lot of interceptions, but let our CB2 do it. Let our two safeties do it. Let the middle linebacker pick it off over the middle. We can get interceptions elsewhere. If Sauce is top tier, top notch at what he does, and that is just sticking to receivers, and especially if we do, like you said, Snowball, and we start putting him on the wide receiver one, press man, just hey, blanket that guy, and he continues to perform the way he has. We got
Mm.
a guy, man. That's that I'll take that all day.
Question from the chat, Snowball. Will Ice Spice be a good or bad influence on Sauce's game?
Oh, definitely a definite positive for Sauce Gardner. Definitely. It's going to be focused because of Ice Spice.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm Snowball, so anything ice related is good. So
Oh, well done. Well done.
Fair
Hey,
enough. Fair enough.
Murph, you said it though. Like Sauce doesn't have to be all world. Like I liken it, and I'm sure some won't like this reference, but like it's kind of like the Mets getting Soto, who is honestly batting 232 right now. Not great, but all of a sudden, everyone around him is batting better.
mm,
I would sign up from a season like if Sauce it has a meh, like whatever, not a lot of picks, but he's doing his job like Soto. But all of a sudden, you see guys in the secondary around him just start popping off. Like Alonso is an MVP candidate right now, and Lindor is just kicking ass. Like, hey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and we saw that with like Revis, like maybe his first couple years, like he was getting some picks until he made a name for himself, until he started just absolutely smothering the wide receiver one on every team he played. We saw that with the Jets defense because Rex Ryan played an aggressive defense that blitzed a lot. There's a lot of pressure on the quarterback coming from all these different angles and stuff. And then you have Sauce taking out wide receiver one, or not Sauce, Revis taking out wide receiver one. There's a lot of errant balls that got thrown up, and we're seeing guys like Jim Leonard and stuff getting picks. So if that's how it is with Sauce, if Aaron Glenn figures out how to pressure the quarterback, have and keep Sauce just absolutely blanketing, whether it's C.D. Lamb or whoever, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, whoever, uh, and these other guys are getting errant balls thrown at them or just hurried throws and stuff like that, bad decisions, and they're picking the ball off. I'm totally fine with that. That's recipe for success in my mind.
I'm in. Count me in.
Yeah.
Snowball, I
Yep.
have it beneath you, but let us know. Are you working on anything special right now? Where can folks find you? Let them know because they're not just listening on YouTube; they're listening on Twitter, X as well. So, uh, talk to us.
Yeah, we're Jets Worldwide. We're on every Friday night on YouTube, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Big guest next week. We have a former Jets player who will be joining us, Lamont Burns from the 1997 season, played with Aaron Glenn, coached by Bill Parcells, and he will be sharing his experiences playing alongside Aaron Glenn and being coached by Bill Parcells. So he'll be on the show for a little bit, and yeah, he'll have some interesting stories to share with us.
Dude.
You guys are crushing it with the guests, man.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Facts.
Awesome.
Yep. I have to thank a former colleague of mine for getting us the contact. So he's a former practice squad Jet player, a guy that I used to work with, and he's actually coaching the Milan. Don't laugh. The Milan Seamen uh, and yeah, and
You're kind of
he has a lot of connections with the Jets. So he played alongside. He was on the practice squad when Vinny Testaverde was there. So he graduated with Vinny Testaverde. So he's helping us out, trying to get us some guests. So we'll see. Maybe one day Vinny will show up on Jets Worldwide. You never know.
That would be awesome, dude. That's a bucket lister, right?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
So you said next Friday, 7:30
Yes.
p.m.
Yep.
Eastern.
hmm
We'll
Jets
cut.
Worldwide
Wait,
on YouTube, all one word. Jets Worldwide.
you'll see both of us in the chat, brother. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Cool, man.
Have a good
Yep.
weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care, guys.
Snowball.
See you.
Snowball. Big Ice Spice guy.
Confirmed Ice
Did-
Spicer.
Yeah, confirmed Ice Spicer for sure.
I love it.
I am not a confirmed Ice Spicer, but whatever, suits sauce.
I'm a ginger spicer myself, and not just because of this, but because I had 5 sisters and I know all the Spice Girls. I know a lot of their songs.
Hold
But
on. Let me be clear here. Ice Spice is not one of the original Spice Girls, is she?
no.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure. 'Cause I didn't know.
Peop-
I didn't know. I was
peop-
like, I think she looks too young to do that, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure she tailored her name around. Come on now. How many spices are there? But yeah, ginger spice. Oh yeah. Um, but guys, we're about to wrap. Literally, we have time for like a 2-minute phone call if anybody wants to chime in. But otherwise, we're winding down. Any final questions in the chat? Feel free. I see Johnny Boy, Scott, Rich, Clancy in the house. Guys, you can't. Some of you might have came in late. If you could hit that like button, we'd appreciate it. But otherwise, we're just chilling. Daniel, what about you? Is there anything in your tool bag that we haven't hit you want to throw out there, or anything that's gnawing at you?
For one, I honestly could not name 2 different Spice Girls. Could not. I gotta admit it. Sorry, man.
That's fine. Yeah,
I didn't have all those sisters.
that is the key.
Yeah, that probably is the key. But also, I don't see the Ice Spice hype either. But I don't know.
I see you, Johnny. I see you.
Things in my tool bag. I just there's always, like, when you have a coach and he instills a certain mentality into a team. There's a like Aaron Glenn could do. You have a chance in almost every game, right? Because if your team is fighting hard like that and they're just, you know, feisty, you have a chance in every game. But I also think this year that, like, it's just as great of a chance to lose every game, and that includes teams like the Carolina Panthers. Scott, that's a little inside thing there. So I'm just saying that, like, this is going to be an interesting season, man. And what we really need to take away from it is how we look, how positions are turning out, the way we're using positions. Like, we're going to be looking at the details this season rather than taking a step back and just looking at WLs, you know. Um, but I'm still excited for it. Like, I want to see how it unravels, because there is a chance that it can unravel the right way and we could be onto something. So I'm hoping that's the case.
A couple questions in the chat for you, Murph. One from Johnny Boy. He wants to know, Murph, do you have a jackhammer in your tool bag?
I don't need one, Johnny. I don't need one.
Then I want to get to a couple people. What's that?
Listen, I'm not going to go into detail why.
Scott says, Question mark, 5 sisters. And then he said, holy mackerel. Another inside joke there. I love it.
Holy-
Johnny Boy says he likes Sporty Spice. Rich says he likes Baby Spice. This next one, I know you know. You know Posh Spice. Victoria Beckham, married to the other Beckham guy.
David Beckham, like the
Yes.
world famous soccer player.
So you know Posh.
So you know the fucking Spice Girls, but you don't know who David Beckham is? Come on.
Listen, I'm in a different world mentally at this moment, but Scott says he has a spice rack.
Me too, and there's a ton of spices on it. I swear.
Hazel gets bonus points. She was the first to name all 5 successfully. Very well done there. Jets Worldwide was very close. I think his autocorrect screwed him on the baby at the end. But Hazel says, spice up your life. And Scott says, Panther Smanther. Johnny Boy says he's dying. And Scott says, the Cougar Hammer you have in your tool bag. Is that why your name says what it says on your camera there?
When did you change that? Oh, jeez.
Dude. It's the time of night where we go off the rails, folks.
Thank
but
God
I'm
they
talking.
don't know what YouTube is.
Yeah, the Cougars, that is. Yeah.
Oh shit. No, that's not the one. All right.
Oh, sorry.
You did me in.
My bad.
I have a non-jet question I have to answer here, sir. I'm obligated by contract. DC, he means Diet Coke or Coke Zero. Snowball, it's Coke Zero, dude. Diet Coke is. I mean, I'm not allowed to say it's gross, but it's gross.
Do they still make vanilla Coke?
Huh?
Do they still make vanilla Coke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Only in certain stores though. Yeah, Coke Zero is definitely better because it actually is close to tasting like Coke. Like you can tell still that it's got aspartame or whatever in it, sweeteners, but definitely Coke Zero for sure.
And then Johnny had a question. Oh, sorry. We're fighting. Sorry here. Who contributes more, Malachi or Isaiah Davis? And I take it he's talking like total touches, total yards. That is a good question there. Do you want to take it first?
See, I actually, when I read it, I just thought of like impact on the game.
Hey, and then that's fine. Spin it how you'd like.
It's actually, Johnny, it's actually a good question. You're actually not spouting MVP Justin Fields nonsense for once. I'm going to go Corley, but yeah, it could go either way. Like I'm high on Isaiah Davis too, but I just can't rule Corley out. I think he got a raw card last year. Like the coaching staff, they ended up forming an opinion on him, and that was that. It was over for him. Well, we got a new coaching staff this year, and everybody gets a shot. Hopefully, I think Corley, if he's given a proper shot, he can be a contributor on this team for sure.
You know what I wonder, and maybe it's egotistic. I don't know the word. Maybe it's foolish of me, but I personally do not think that Brees and Corley can excel in the same offense. I mean, maybe they can taking turns, but I just think that in the passing game, they're going to be the same guy. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe Corley will develop downfield routes. Or maybe like while Brees is in the I formation, Corley will be doing what Brees is going to be doing in the passing. You know what I mean? Like maybe they'll take turns, but if we trade Brees, though, Corley, I think, could have a huge opportunity. If we don't, I fear we may not get to see what he's made of. What do you think of that angle? Do you think I'm making too much of their skill sets? Do you think they both can thrive together?
I think that I get what you're saying, but I also kind of feel like the players have different mentalities. Like Brees is like the let me find this hole and shoot through it and be gone. And Corley's like, where's the next motherfucker closest to me so I can run him over? You know? And I just think that there's something to be said for that. But sometimes you need that in the game compared to this just like, hey, let's try to hit a home run, you know? Um, but I can see that, but I can also see where Brees gets traded before freaking halfway through the season too, because Dane, I know you've been spitting that, take potentially here and there. So that's all the more reason for me to be like, hey, Corley still has that shot to be that dude that contributes more.
I call me crazy. I think it's Jermaine and Brees. You can keep one, and I'm Team Jermaine, baby. Uh, but hey, they could prove me wrong and figure out a way for both, and Sauce and Garrett and Quinnen and Quincy and Jamian and all of them. The way the cap is going, and we have dead money that won't be as much. Who knows, man? Who the knows? Uh, but I think it's much easier just to part with Brees for assets or let him play and then he walks and you get a comp pick later. We'll see. We'll see, man. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna, really, really, really wanna zig a zig. Ah.
I I had to do it.
Oh shit. We're wrapped, man. If I don't get a like out of you for that solo, beautiful, uh, yeah, I don't know, man. You got to, yeah. Murph, your homework for this week is to go back and watch the late '90s film called Spice World, and yeah, you'll be hooked.
Maybe while
Clip
I'm on
that
the beach,
shit.
we'll decide to do that. Hell, they might even be playing it, at one of the tiki bars or something. So,
Facts, facts. Hey, that as good a place as any to leave it, brother. Had fun, man. Hit that like button. Yeah, Hazel, everybody's saying clip that shit. It'll get clipped, I guess. I hate clipping myself, but someone's got to do it, right? Never do this shit for clicks. We're just having fun on a Friday night, guys. I'm trying to take my life back after that. Where I'm out of context there. What's he talking about?
take back that 30 seconds that you, you killed of his life.
Rich says, great show, man. Hey, I appreciate the chat, killing it. Oh, God, Johnny, extending this shit every time. Who throws a touchdown first, Aaron or oh, you got to the way throws or scores?
Yeah, it's Aaron. Aaron throws one first. We're gonna be a run heavy team, guys. Like I think first fucking touchdown of the year is Braylon Allen, goal line punching it in.
What? Okay, give me 30 seconds. How does Aaron Rodgers' season in Pittsburgh go in 30 seconds or less? Hold on. I'm going to put us together because maybe I'll clip this as well. But let me ask you one more time, Murph, for continuity's sake. In 30 seconds or less, how do you see Aaron Rodgers' season in Pittsburgh going this year?
Aaron Rodgers will have an almost identical year as he did last year with the Jets. Pittsburgh will miss the playoffs. Narrowly will miss the playoffs. And there's going to be a lot of mad Pittsburgh casuals out there. That's just how I see it happening. I see him throwing for 3,500 yards and 28 touchdowns, 12 picks. It's going to be almost an identical season of what we just saw last year, where it's like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't necessarily good either. It was adequate, I guess, if you needed to get by for a year. But when they miss the playoffs, Steelers fans aren't going to be happy.
DK could unravel fast too. And here's the thing, like my take on it is I think he'll look way better than he did with us. I do. I thought he looked god awful for 10 out of 17 games. He looked great in 3 and then medium in 4. I think he plays a lot better. I just don't know that they have enough. Their O line is not like he would have been. No wonder he wanted to stay here. Our O line is going to be twice as good as theirs. But it's also Pittsburgh. I do think they make the playoffs. Call me crazy. But also, the Ravens are winning that division. The Bengals have been, dude, they're going to be fighting like hell. I do think Pittsburgh gets a wild card. They might even win a playoff game, but that's it. I don't know if it's worth it. If all you're doing is going 2 and done, but I do think Rodgers looks better to exit, to go off in the sunset with his head held a little higher than it would if he did now.
Yeah. Will his ego allow him to retire if he plays better, but doesn't do anything with it?
Someone
So
said the other day that Anthony Richardson will be the Steelers quarterback in 2026.
that's a solid take. Honestly, seems like they're scared of drafting a quarterback. I mean, I know they didn't pick it, but that worked out well. So I could see them just reshuffling those veterans until hopefully one of them lands for them. And knowing the Steelers and how lucky they are as a fan base, it probably will. It probably will be Anthony Richardson.
Does Aaron wear 8 or 12?
Um, 8.
I don't. Yeah, 8.
Like
Tom,
what did Bradshaw wear?
didn't he wear 12?
I think he wore 12. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tommy Maddox was 8, but Tommy wasn't that great.
That's a name. That's when I
Yeah.
first started watching football. My dad, like I said, my dad's a Steelers fan, so like the games would be on. I remember Tommy Maddox. Don't remember a whole lot of Cordell Stewart, but what I do remember, it wasn't good.
Oh, Cordell, I have fond memories of, man.
Yeah.
I liked him. But you probably got the later state. At his peak, he was electric. Okay, final question. I don't care if you guys tell me the location of the heart of the ocean after this. You're getting cut off. Final question. Better season, Garrett Wilson or DK Metcalf? Statistically.
I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson. No green goggles on. I honestly think Garrett Wilson will have a better year. Probably not by a lot. If I had to estimate, Garrett goes for 1,205 touchdowns, and I think DK Metcalf goes for 1,006 or 1,007 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
maybe slightly better, but
I wonder. I just wonder how often we pass the ball. The thing is, though, when we will, he's going to get most of them. So 12 and 5, you said?
12-5. Yeah.
Safe bet. Safe bet. I like it. Sorry, Johnny, you're cut off. All right, Murph. Have a good week, brother. Next week, we'll be discussing mandatory minicamp. Oh, boy. Mandatory minicamp, which Michael Clemens will be forced to be at. So we can discuss him next week. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
We'll definitely be all over that. For
Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're watching. We'll see you next week, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, today. We came to you at 6 p.m. on the West Coast on 6/6. Number of the beast, baby.
We're doomed.
Have a good night, Murph.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.
We can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.